The Nebraska State Patrol and highway safety officials with Nebraska Department of Transportation are urging motorists to travel safely after a tragic week on Nebraska roadways. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, in the past week and a half, 15 people have lost their lives in traffic crashes across the state, with many of those happening here in the Panhandle. NSP Troop E Commander Captain Kurt von Minden believes a combination of factors have come together at about the same time, leading to deadlier roadways recently.
What you're seeing is the eventual end of the COVID-19 lockdown, people hitting the road in record numbers, plus the beginning of the traditional vacation season, mixed with a very busy time for our local ag folks, means a lot of people on the road all at the same time, all in a hurry to get somewhere. And I think that's what we've seen contributing to these crashes.
Von Minden says locally, troopers will be out with the patrol's seatbelt convincer and rollover simulator at area events, working to help people understand what can happen during traffic accidents. He recommends everybody plan ahead just a little bit to allow time to get to your destination. Don't speed, and please wear your seatbelt. Well, a portion of a major motion picture was filmed in Scottsbluff County yesterday. Belvedere Productions was shooting at Harry's Truck Stop just outside of Minutair for an upcoming film for most of the day yesterday. Local cars and trucks from the late 1980s and earlier were utilized for the filming, and flaggers were on scene to coordinate closures to prevent newer model vehicles from getting into shots. The movie, whose title has not been publicly released, chronicles the cross-country travels of the film's main characters. Well, coming after the break, it was a hot one out there today, a trend that's going to stay for the next few days. Bill Boyer's in with your Tuesday evening forecast right after this on KNEB.TV News.
At Platte Valley Bank, we believe it shouldn't cost you money to access your money. That's why we offer free ATMs anytime, anywhere. Whether you are across town or traveling abroad, there won't be an added expense to access the funds in your Platte Valley Bank account. Free ATMs are just one of the great benefits of banking with us. Stop by to talk to one of our friendly associates to discuss what else Platte Valley Bank has to offer.
This is KNEB.TV weather from the KNEB Storm Center, your trusted source for weather.
Well, as we go across the area this evening, we are looking for another round of partly cloudy skies. It is going to be quiet for the most part, lots of sun out there, and maybe an isolated storm. Hopefully we can get some moisture squeezed out of here occasionally. Had just one isolated, very photogenic storm late last night about sunset across the area. Some beautiful pictures sent in to us here at the station. So we could see an isolated storm. The heat wave should break a bit on Friday. It's going to remain hot through the weekend. Then finally, a little bit of a cool down, probably only for one day, though, on Monday, but it will be a bit cooler. We had 101 yesterday. That was plenty. Record high 102, so we missed it by one yesterday. We are in that record territory, set many records across the area today. Nothing in the rain gauge yesterday, still just a tenth of an inch for the month, and we've now fallen about an inch below normal as this streak of above normal temperatures continue from the last 2 weeks. That one day there where it was just 1 degree below normal. Otherwise, it has been a hot and primarily dry stretch of weather here across the high plains. And as you can see, it is hot right now. Temperatures in the 90s and low 100s out there. As we look across the area, 100 in Ogallala, 102 Torrington, Scottsbluff. There's a 103 in Chadron. Wheatland checks in at 101. Winds are only about 5 to 15 miles an hour, so they're not too bad, but those winds are certainly not cooling in any way, shape, or form. Severe weather threats, primarily on the far east coast. We have a marginal risk of a severe thunderstorm here in the area, but very little of that. Tomorrow, everything moves off to the east and even further to the east as we go into Thursday. Well, as we take a look at Futurecast, it is going to be primarily quiet, a very isolated chance of a small thunderstorm. That's about it tonight across the area. Otherwise, we're going to be mainly clear. Lows are going to fall down only into the 60s overnight. Going to be a very mild night. Look at Valentine and Chadron there in the low 70s overnight. Now, tomorrow, we start the day with sunshine. We're going to have a few clouds roll in throughout the day tomorrow, but it's going to be another partly cloudy, very hot day with just an isolated late day storm again. Again, only about a 10 to 20% chance of seeing any moisture if we do see any of those storms form across the area. And another scorcher, highs going well into the hundreds in many locations. Ogallala at 105 tomorrow, 104 in Valentine and in Oshkosh. Very hot weather continues, and it is primarily going to be dry. May see an isolated shower in a few locations, but most of us are going to stay dry. Clear skies tonight for the most part, down to 65 degrees. Tomorrow, winds are going to turn a bit more out of the northerly direction. It's not going to help us much, though. Record highs are expected with temps around 103, and then we get just a touch cooler Thursday, still near 100. But then Friday, we cool down into the low 90s, mid 90s on Saturday. Summer officially arrives on Father's Day on Sunday with highs only around 90. We fall down into the 80s on Monday for 1 day reprieve, only to get back into the low 90s again for Tuesday of next week. Hot weather conditions continue. Make sure you're taking precautions when you're outdoors, especially over the next couple of days as that oppressive heat continues.
At 21st Century Equipment, we're proud to introduce the new Build Your Own tool. Build the John Deere you've been wanting and see how affordable it really is. Visit 21stcenturyequipment.net to build your own compact utility tractor, mower, or gator. It's easy to add implements, attachments, and view financing options. Build the exact tractor for your needs at a price you can afford, all from the comfort and safety of home, with the new Build Your Own tool at 21stcenturyequipment.net.
You might not know that Renewal by Anderson is a local family business. The owner here is Andy Stelflew. He's a fourth-generation rancher who learned about customer service and the land of opportunity early on.
Over and over again, I heard it's about the customer. It's signature service, treating the customer the right way. What a blessing it is to live in America. What a blessing it is to live in a country of the free, that if you want to do something grow, you can.
Renewal by Anderson, great windows and great local people who never forget it's about the customer.
Hydrozen. Unplug and recharge. What is Hydrozen? It's total body relaxation. It's total body recharge. It's floating weightless on water. Floating your aches, pains, stresses, and worries away. Hydrozen is a revolutionary new therapy using Epsom salt saturated water as a way to relax and rejuvenate your body. And it's now available in Scottsbluff. It is for most ages and has many benefits to the mind and body. Visit hydrozenfloat.com or call us at 308-63-FLOAT.
Welcome back. A young woman from Scottsbluff gets the crown this past weekend during the Miss Nebraska pageant in North Platte. Ms. Scottsbluff County Jamie Rose Tran was crowned as this year's Outstanding Teen. Now, she's the recipient of a $2,000 scholarship and will represent Nebraska at the Miss America's Outstanding Teen competition this summer in Orlando. Tran made local headlines 5 years ago as an 8th grader after earning a perfect score on her ACTs and getting a full scholarship offer to UNL. Well, a 41-year-old Gering man is being held on a $250,000 bond for reportedly robbing a man at gunpoint at a local motel last week. Jorge Sands Jr. is charged with robbery and use of a deadly weapon to commit a felony and was arraigned on the felony charges yesterday in Scottsbluff County Court. Now, court records say he went into an occupied room at the Circle S Lodge in Gering and stole $600 cash from the victim while pointing 2 handguns at him. Sands will be back in court on Thursday for his preliminary hearing. And the city of Scottsbluff is reminding the public that the Avenue B Mill and Overlay project from West Overland north to 33rd Street and West Overland between Avenue B and Avenue I is beginning this week. The first phase of the project with Simon Contractors and Infinity Construction is to replace curb and gutters on Avenue B north, with the contractor working in sections to keep disruptions to a minimum. Construction will start by working from West Overland to the tracks on the east side and then come back on the west side before moving north to the next section. No major closings are planned at this point, but they're asking the motorists, public, pedestrians, and bicyclists to use extreme caution when in and around the work zone. Well, coming up after the break, Chabella Guzman in with a check-in on Ag News. She'll have that in just 90 seconds here on KNEB.TV News.
The 100th Annual Oregon Trail Days rolls into Gering July 8th through the 11th. Barbecues, street dance, food fair, a car show, 2 parades, Old Settlers Luncheon, bicycle hill climb, mud volleyball, a pancake feed, chili and barbecue cook-offs, an art show, a craft show, and a quilt show, a carnival, beer and wine tasting, and Sawyer Brown with Ned Ledoux at Five Rocks. It's summer's best weekend. The 100th Annual Oregon Trail Days, July 8th through the 11th.
This year, W2 means we double. Reganis Auto Center will double your down payment on any pre-owned vehicle on their lot. Turn $500 into $1,000. Turn $1,500 into $3,000. Use that money to get out of your lease or a vehicle you owe too much on, or to lower your monthly payment. For a limited time only, double your down payment only at Reganis Auto Center on East Overland and East 27th Street in Scottsbluff, your volume discount dealer.
This chair is way too big. It's perfect for us. This one's tiny. That's 'cause it's mine. Hey, this chair is just right. This bed is way too hard. It's perfect for me. This bed is way too soft. Just what I needed. This bed is just right. So come on over to Leave Heads.
In boots, new and old, you've walked the rows of life, a fence length of time. You fought the floods, snow, and sweltering heat, and lifted breathing and settled pain. With a smile and a cry, you've strengthened your community and future generations. Sometimes with nothing to say. Often can't say enough. Like, let me do it again.
This is KNEB.TV Ag News from the FNBO Ag Desk. FNBO, the great big small bank.
Governor Pete Ricketts made a 30x30 stop on June 8th in Alliance. The Biden administration 30x30 plan is a push to conserve 30% of U.S. lands and waters by the year 2030. The administration has yet to put concrete details into the 30x30 document, but one suggestion has been creating more permanent conservation easements. Ricketts says while he's not against conservation easements, he is against perpetual ones.
Because that's forever. That means that nobody will ever be able to develop that land. It'll always be restricted. And I think at some point somebody should be able to go back and do that.
Nebraska has its share of perpetual and limited easements. Jeff Metz of Bridgeport and chairman of the Morrill County Commissioners says they've looked at zoning to deal with easements.
We've included some language in our zoning regs that allow us the option to deny a perpetual conservation easement if so deemed. You cannot deny a federal easement, but a non-governmental, say Ducks Unlimited or Nature Conservancy, they have to come before the board, and we have language in place to take a look at those and deny them if it doesn't fall within our county comprehensive plan.
Metz says along with the loss of use of land comes another possible problem.
What happens to that property? Does it remain on the tax rolls? Does it end up in some exempt status, and then it comes off the tax rolls? A lot of these counties are going to struggle for funding if that happens.
Ricketts says while the 30x30 plan says it's voluntary, he doesn't see how the amount of land needed could be done voluntarily.
The Verizon family is full of frowns because they're spending too much for their unlimited data and phones, while the Viero family is all smiles because they're getting 4 lines of unlimited data with 2 free Apple iPhone SE for mom and dad and 2 free LG K31 smartphones for the kids, all for just $100 a month. They're saving so much, they're able to get Fido. Find out how you can too at Viero.com or your nearest Viero store. Viero Wireless, keeping you connected.
When it comes to helping local folks with the loans and financial advice they need, we don't horse around. Our only goal is to help you and your family achieve your financial goals with the right loans and savings products. So if you want to bank with people that care about you and your financial needs, stop by or give us a call. First State Bank. We're big on you. Member FDIC. Online at fsbcentral.com.
Well, let's take a look what's happening on today's community calendar. That's a look at today's community calendar, brought to you by First State Bank, honoring those who give back. Nominate your community champion at fsbcentral.com.
Western CPAP Supply has earned an impeccable professional reputation within the Wyoming and Western Nebraska region. Helping you get a good night's sleep is our passion. Our amazing team understands sleep disorders from a personal and professional level. We use CPAPs and BiPAPs too, and sometimes it just helps to work with people who share common ground. Our accredited CPAP supply company is approved by Medicare and Medicaid and is in network with every major insurance company in the region. Western CPAP Supply. We're here to help.
High Plains Auto Club presents the Father's Day Rock and Roll Classic Friday, June 18th. Registration begins at 2 p.m. at the Gering Civic Center with a welcome barbecue, cruise for cash, ice cream social. Saturday, June 19th, a parade, show and shine, and awards banquet. To enter, go to highplainsautoclub.com or call 308-765-2418. This event is sponsored by The Meat Shop, Dairy Queen, First State Bank, Frank Parts Company.
Why bank at a local community bank? When you choose a local community bank, you keep money in our local economy. That money helps support local jobs, schools, and businesses. Money that helps fund a stronger and prosperous community for us all to enjoy and live in. At Platte Valley Bank, we are here to help build and support the community we love being a part of. We believe that together, we can make great things happen. Platte Valley Bank.
And finally tonight, family, friends, local officials, and dignitaries from across the state gathered in the hills of the Pine Ridge last weekend to celebrate the 100th birthday of Chadron State Park, the first such facility in the state's game and park system. During a ceremony marking the occasion, Nebraska Lieutenant Governor Mike Foley noted that 76 facilities that are a part of the state's recreational opportunities generate a huge economic impact for the state.
Contributes nearly $750 million of economic activity to our state, bringing in thousands and thousands of people from all across the country who want to visit Nebraska State Parks. And what a jewel they are. What a beautiful place to row a boat, to go swimming, to catch some sun, to do some hiking. We're all here for the same purpose. We're here to enjoy God's great, beautiful creation.
Outgoing Game and Parks Director Jim Douglas recounted a conversation from earlier this year in which one patron described the experience at a Nebraska park this year much different than the typical response.
Peaceful, or pristine, or a place for serenity. But he said no. He said, we've had a time when we haven't been getting out as much, and now we're getting out, and we're getting out as a family. And he says, the experience to me is powerful. So he said, it's bringing my family together again. It's causing us to think about what's really important in life.
And Game and Parks Administrator Jim Swenson recalled the words of former President Teddy Roosevelt, who visited the area back in 1905, well ahead of the establishment of the first Nebraska State Park.
A kindly nature has provided in western Nebraska a rare spot of beauty and has endowed it richly. Man's aid is never needed to improve nature's landmark, handiwork, but the preservation of her beauty and the display of her charms is a duty of the entire citizenship. I think we've accomplished that well.
Also announced during the ceremony was a $50,000 grant from the Game and Parks Foundation towards a new event shelter at the park. And among the highlights of the centennial celebration was the opening of the new indoor archery and pellet gun range, along with laser light shows, concerts, and a multitude of other activities for young and old alike. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you here next time.